All right, dude, there is a 99% chance that you are making a really serious nice guy mistake. And it's this mistake that's causing you to deal with frustrating relationships with women where you feel like you're jumping through hoops and never getting the respect you deserve. And it's also the reason that you feel like you're always having to accommodate your social life. If your friends want to go out drinking, even if you're on a self improvement grind and trying to get better, you feel like you have to go out of your way and you feel bad if you're not accommodating what they want to do. And so you're in this box where you're constantly accommodating people and never getting the respect you truly want, and it's keeping you from living the life you want to live and accomplishing your goals. And in this video, we're going to talk about it and why you need to start carrying yourself like an entitled douche. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to read off a post that I put inside of my school community discussing this topic, and I'm going to give you some more commentary on the subject. So let's get into it. The title of the post is "Expect More from the People and Women Around You." Asking yourself, how is this relationship benefiting me, is one of the most important questions a successful man needs to ask himself. Top level men don't keep friends around because they're bored or he's funny, and they don't keep a girlfriend because they're lonely and want some mushy cuddles in the evening. These kinds of men value their lives because they have intentionally built them for excellence, and with that comes a lot of boundaries. The higher you rise, the lower your tolerance for other people's BS. At this point, I won't go out of my way for any relationship outside of my parents, and I barely make allowances for that. The more you know yourself, the more you expect other people to get on your time if they want to see you, and that works if you're a top-level man. If you don't have your shit together, very few people are going to comply with you, but once you start leveling up, you'll find that your presence is value enough for people, especially women, and so you just stop making accommodations for people. And this becomes reinforced by the fact that your life gets so much better the less you accommodate people. I used to do the old grab a drink with randoms I was sort of friends with in my early 20s, where like some dude that you kind of knew from high school that you're sort of friends with, I guess, hits you up and asks if you want to grab a beer. And I would always like say yes for whatever reason, even though I didn't really want to do it, that type of bullshit. Now, if you want to see me, you can meet me at the gym, and I'm going at 8 a.m. Can't make it at 8, no big deal, but I'm not waiting. I've got shit to do. And even with that, it's like most people who hit me up for the gym, I'm going to tell them something like, I like to work out alone, which isn't even really true. I like to work out with people. I just don't want to work out with you, truthfully. Very picky with who I spend my time with at this point. I used to put so much effort into women, and then I stopped. I started only taking out women who showed me real interest. And now at this point, I can barely be bothered to go on a date. I'd rather the girl just come to me, and if she doesn't, I really don't care. I show up to the door in gym shorts because I just can't be bothered to change. Even effort for sex feels like I'm going out of my way too much. I'd rather just be so valuable that it feels like her privilege to sleep with me. Sounds arrogant, I'm sure, but it's just such a better way to live. Imagine if that girl you like got a DM from Drake telling her to come over at 2 a.m. She'd pack her bags, hop on a plane, and show up. So why not expect that same kind of treatment too? The level of compliance you get from people is directly related to how valuable you are. The Roman emperor got what he wanted when he wanted it. If the emperor told you to show up to his palace, you dropped what you were doing and showed up. Why not expect the same level of treatment for yourself? This isn't about being a dickhead to people, but why is it your responsibility to jump through hoops for everyone? Why are you the one who's supposed to rearrange his schedule to fit someone else? Why are you the one who's supposed to waste his Friday night on some bullshit with some random friends? Why do you need to spend $80 on dinner for the quote privilege of taking a woman out? Why aren't people jumping through these hoops for you? The only reason is because your value isn't high enough for them to consider it worth it. If your value is high enough, the woman will show up to your house with bags of groceries and cook you dinner on the first date. So you have two choices. Choice one is lower your standards and keep accommodating everyone. This leads to your life being controlled by other people, women not respecting you, and wasting all your time. Choice two is you raise your expectations for everyone around you and raise your value to the point where everyone complies with your new standards. standards. Joe Rogan doesn't travel to do interviews, you travel to him. The value of the show is worth the trip. If Joe Rogan got 1,000 views, nobody would show up, and even if he asked to fly to the guest, half of them would still decline because it's just not worth the trouble. So start asking yourself, is this relationship benefiting me? And if it's not, set new terms for the relationship so that it becomes beneficial. Ask, what would I need from this relationship for me to consider it a positive use of my time? And only accept that or more from the relationship. The more you build a life you're passionate about, the easier this is to do, because anything that knocks you off that life feels like a huge inconvenience. And the more value you build, the more people will get on board with the new program. So guys, I have found in my life that the biggest waste of time is trying to accommodate other people. It is such a huge time suck, and it leaves you in this position where you feel powerless and kind of disrespected, where you're always like basically treating your life like it is worth less than other people's. That person wants to go grab a drink and you feel guilty for saying no, so you go grab a drink with them. This person wants you to come out on a Friday night with them, you feel guilty, you go. You, for some reason in our society, enforces this concept, feel that it is your responsibility to jump through a ton of hoops to get some woman to go on a date with you. And this is just, again, socially reinforced. And so everybody accepts this kind of shit without really thinking it through, when in reality, it's just, it's demeaning and it's degrading. And I guess the more that you level yourself up, the more this becomes obvious. You know, I remember when I was like 22 years old, I was living with my parents and I matched with this girl on a dating app, and I ended up driving like 50 minutes at night. It was like probably 11:30 at night. I went 50 minutes to her apartment to have sex with her. And she was like a 5, right? Not really, nothing to write home about, anything like that. She's just some average chick. And I just went completely out of my way for this shit. And now it's like, I literally just can't be bothered to leave my apartment, guys. Like, I'm so serious. Like, for a date, I'm just like, like, I got to do all this shit, right? Especially for a first date. Listen, if you get to where you know a girl well and you really like her, then it's like, all right, then it feels like it's worth it for you to go put in a little bit of effort for the relationship. But like at the beginning, it's like, I don't even know you. Why am I bothering to do this? Like, I want you on my time. I don't want any drama in my life. I don't want to put any effort into this shit because I like my life. And if you start acting like this, it feels bad because society will shame you for this. But if you just look around, this is how the world works, right? Donald Trump doesn't go meet with like random people all over the place. They come to him, right? If you want to say something to the president, you travel to Washington, D.C., and you try and get the president's ear. That's how the game works. The CEO doesn't, if the CEO wants to have a meeting with some lower level employee or some shit like that, or even like a vice president, the vice president goes to his office. The CEO doesn't go to the vice president. This is actually one of the 48 laws of power in Robert Greene's book, is that you need to set things up in such a way so that people have to come to you. This is a game of power. And every time that you make these accommodations for people and lower your standards for what you're willing to tolerate in your life, essentially you're limiting your power. And you're also making your life worse, because it is just, again, it's a dramatic waste of your time to go around just like fitting everybody into your life. I remember I used to have this friend I would work out with, and I love the guy, but like at the time when I was like 21, 20 years old, something like that, I started helping him work out. I was teaching him how to work out and getting him in shape. And he would show up to the workout like 30 minutes late. And I would just put up with this, even though I was the one teaching him how to get in shape, right? So like all the value that was being provided was provided by me. I didn't need him for the workout. But for whatever reason, I would just wait around for the guy. And now it's like, I'm just not doing that type of shit, right? And again, that's like, he's a great friend of mine to this day. It was like, it is what it is. But like, just my standard at this point would be a lot higher. I just would not be doing that shit. And it's like infuriating to you on a certain level the more you make these accommodations. You feel like you start feeling like you're being disrespected, or at least if you're the kind of guy who wants more out of life, or you have that sort of mindset and mentality where you consider yourself an elite kind of man and you want to be that kind of guy. It bugs the fuck out of you to get on other people's time. It bugs the fuck out of you to feel like people are telling you what to do and controlling you and that type of shit. And like, it's just like, why? Why are you having to do all this shit? There are people out there who don't have to do this type of shit. And for me, it's like, I would much rather just raise my value to the point where everyone just gets on my fucking timeline. because it's like a win-win situation when you do it that way, because the way you're going to raise your value is by doing shit that you're passionate about and building an epic life for yourself. So you get to build the epic life and then everyone gets on your timeline, whereas the alternative is you don't build the epic life and you get on everyone else's timeline. And so I just really, again, like, it's not about being a dickhead. And there's obviously certain, like, I guess you could say caveats, or not even caveats, but just nuance to this, which is like, if a friend hits me up to go smoke a cigar, it's not like I'm gonna be like, hey, like, you got to do it on my timeline. If he's like, hey, do you want to go grab a cigar tonight? If I'm free, I'll go grab the cigar with the guy if I want to, right? If he hits me up to go grab a drink, I'm probably going to say no, though, because I don't want to fucking drink. But I do like to smoke cigars, so it's something I'm willing to do. But you see how that works, right? Like, there are certain nuances and caveats to the way this works. But just like, why are you doing shit that you don't want to do? Why are you hanging out with people you don't want to hang out with? Why are you allowing relationships in your life that just aren't benefiting you? Women or men, friends or dating life. Why are we doing this type of shit? It just doesn't make any sense. And the more you start carrying yourself like this entitled douche who expects everyone else to get on his timeline, the more everyone does it and the more respect you get. I just find that this works, right? Everyone, because it's like a sorting effect, basically. Because pretty much what happens is, like, you build a life that you like enough and you're passionate about and you're focused on, and it's enjoyable enough to you that you don't need to do anything else. You like your life. And so people can get on your time. And if they do, great. That means they're an asset to your life. And if they don't, who gives a fuck? Because I don't want to deal with you if you're not on my time anyways. This isn't really like an ego stroke thing, genuinely. It's more just like a common sense thing. It's like, I just only want value in my life. If a woman wants to argue with me, I just don't want to argue. And so I just don't text her back. You know what I mean? If you don't want to come do what I want to do, I just don't respond. Because I had this happen the other day. I had this girl and she was actually going to come over. She was going to do the whole cooking thing that I told you guys about just in the post. I was like, she was going to come over and cook. She sends me this message saying that her work was running late and she was going to have to bring her laptop and probably do some work while she was here if she was going to come. And she was asking me if I still wanted her to come. And I was like, don't bother. And I didn't set another date. I wasn't even mad about it. I was actually thrilled, honestly. Because again, like, I guess you just get to a point in your life, guys, where you're just like, I love my life. I have really just, and I think this is so important for every guy to do, is like, the superpower of life is intentionally building a life that you want to live every day. Because once you've done that, you don't need anything from anybody. Right? Like, I want to work out. I want to box. I want to make these videos. I want to build a supplement business. I want to work on my real estate business. I want to watch the kind of content that I like to watch. I want to stick to my diet. Everything is so intentionally done and structured and established for me to be who I want to be, that I'm like, I literally like doing this so much that if you're not doing this, I just don't want to do anything with you. Right? I'm like, I go eat fucking Mexican food. I'm like, I'm fucking good. I'm on a diet. I'm trying to get to 10% body fat right now. Like, this doesn't make sense. And it's like, it's just such a better way to live, guys. Seriously, the more you can just build a life you fucking like. And that's really the reason you're accommodating bullshit. If we're being honest here, the reason you're accommodating bullshit in your life is because you haven't leveled yourself up to the point where you love your life. The higher you rise, and I'm not even that high up, guys. Like, it's not like, I mean, if Donald Trump told me to show up, I'd fucking show up, right? It's not like I'm on that level or some shit like that. But like, I'm at the point now where I have constructed enough to where, like, just normal people wanting me to do shit, it just doesn't make sense. And this might feel like something you feel guilty for. You feel like, oh, this is mean. I should be nicer than this. But you got to understand that is just society trying to tamp you down, genuinely. And the truth is, you already do what I'm telling you to do right now. If a homeless person asks you for money, half of you guys are going to say, I don't have any money on me, or you're going to ignore the guy because it's just like, it feels like it's a drain on you. And he's so low status and low value to you that you're just not going to deal with him, right? If somebody offered you a McDonald's minimum wage job, you wouldn't take it, right? Because you'd be like, this ain't worth it, right? Because I've raised my value to the point where I'm not working at fucking McDonald's or some shit like that. This is like a game everybody's playing. I'm just telling you to do it intentionally with the people around you and to basically preemptively start doing it. Start building a life that is completely on your terms and carrying yourself like a fucking royal prince or a king or some shit. And just expect everyone to get on your time. And I just think, especially if you're going to be like the man, right? Like if you're like me and you want to like really run shit in your life, you want to be that guy, you want to call the shots. I'm a natural leader, guys. I have like Tucker Carlson famously said this. He said, I have a moral claustrophobia to being told what to do. And I totally relate to that. Like I just cannot be told what to do by anybody. It drives me fucking insane. I have to be in charge of shit. I have to be driving the boat in everything in my life. That's just my personality. If you're like that and you want to actually run shit and you want to be that patriarch for your family, you want to be the one who's got like a woman who's really in your frame and like everything's really designed by you, like intentionally, and you build a life very intentionally. It's just like, why are you like doing any of this other shit? And you need to go ahead and get on this timeline with like this mentality where you're expecting everyone to get on your time. And it's not about being a dick, it's not about having an ego, it's genuinely just about saying like, it's not an emotional thing. Like if it doesn't work out with someone, if a woman doesn't want to get on my time, if I tell her like I do this as tests a lot of times to women on dating apps. Like I'll make them jump through hoops. Like I will tell them to go follow me on Instagram and I'll talk to them on there. And my logic for that is like, if you like me enough, you'll go follow me on Instagram. And if you don't like me enough, then cool, I don't have to waste my time with you. And if they don't follow me on Instagram, it's not like I'm sitting there fucking seething about it. I'm like, cool, like they just didn't like me enough, and that's fine. And if I want them to like me so bad, then the best thing I could do is just raise my value anyways, rather than trying to chase them down and hope that that'll make me get what I want. Because really what I want, and I think what most men genuinely want deep down, we don't want these things we think we want. We think we want sex. We think we want money. We think we want friends. What you really want is fucking respect. You want money, but you want it in a respectful way. Like, I don't want to be in real estate chasing down a client, and I won't do it. Like, if somebody's gonna be a tire kicker and I'm gonna have to go show them like 100 houses before they fucking make a decision, I don't want to deal with them. I want to deal with that person who's ready to go, who respects my time and is happy to work with me because they see the value that I can bring to the transaction. And that's the kind of person I go work with. And I don't work with the tire kicker, right? You don't want to deal with that. I don't want sex from a woman that I have to go crazy for, that I have to go out of my way for. I want sex with the woman who is thrilled to have sex with me, who wants to have sex with me. There's no proving myself for it, no earning the sex, no going out of my way for it. I don't want friends who I feel like I have to drop my life for, where I have to do things out of my way for. I want friends who think exactly like me on shit. And so there's no inconvenience in the relationship. It's not inconvenient for me to, go work out with you because I want to work out anyways. It's not inconvenient for me to talk business with you because that's what I'm going to talk about. But if you want to go talk about dumb shit, it's like, I don't want to be your friend. I just don't want to. And guys, the best thing you can do for yourself, seriously, is just level the fuck up until you don't have to deal with anything that's not on your fucking timeline. And there is still shit in my life where I have to deal with shit that's not exactly what I want to do. Things I have to go out of my way for, things that are a little bit inconvenient, right? But the higher I rise, the less this will happen, right? When I launch my supplement company, I'm probably going to have to reach out to a lot of influencers to get them to start promoting the product. I'm going to have to do certain things and do a little bit more outreach, to the point where eventually if the brand blows up and gets to a certain level where the brand itself has status and my personal brand is so big that people want to associate with me, everyone's going to be coming to me wanting to use the supplement, right? But for now, I have to go out and hunt people down for these kinds of things. But you always want to be putting yourself in the position of power, in the position of respect, in the position where everyone has to get on your time, because that gives you more control over your life. And that is what the leader does. The leader, it's not that you're an egomaniac. You take care of the people around you as a leader, but the leader also understands that he takes care of you, but the expectation is that he gets your absolute respect. You know what I'm saying? Like the husband done properly, most guys don't do this day, but a husband done properly, he has respect and authority, right? He has responsibility for everything as the leader, but he also gets your 100% respect and authority, and you're compliant with him and do what he says to do. And if you do all that for him, then he does all of his responsibilities for you. And in the proper dynamic, if one of those two parties isn't doing what they're supposed to do, the other one leaves. If the man is not taking responsibility for everything and taking care of everything, then the woman leaves. And if the woman is not being 100% compliant with the man and giving him 100% respect, then the man leaves. And this is the mentality I think you should just have as a man. You need to be in that spot where you are demanding 100% respect, compliance from everybody, right? Like, why are we dealing with girls' flaky behavior? Like, I think about this from the dating situation. And I think about all the effort guys put into figuring out how to be good with women. Like, how do I text them right? What is this thing I need to do? Like, how should I do this? What if she flakes on the date? How do I get her back? Like, doing all these silly little things. I'm like, why are you doing any of this? What is with all this effort? You know what I'm saying? Like, would you do this for a random guy? If a random guy, if you hit him up and were like, let's say you just met him at the gym and you invited him to get a workout in with you and he left you on red and ignored you, would you sit around trying to think about, geez, how do I get this guy to go work out with me? You'd just be like, all right, fuck this guy. Why aren't you doing that with women? Why are you on this? Like, you're implicitly accepting this idea that you should be accommodating her, that you should be jumping through hoops for her, and she's disrespecting you. Just fuck it. Why are you dealing with anybody who is not just on your fucking time, guys? If you really want to be the leader, you want to be the top guy, this is the way it works. If that's not your mentality, if you just want to go along to get along, you want to be a friend in a group and just kind of live that kind of life, like, I can't relate to it personally, but you know, you can think differently. But if you really want to be the top fucking guy and you want to build something epic with your life and that's your mentality and you've got goals and you want to do some real shit, it's like you got to make everyone get on your time, because otherwise they're just wasting your time. And you got to understand, most people, they don't know what the fuck they're doing anyways. They're looking for leadership. If you just demanded their respect and accountability and accommodating you, they would actually appreciate it a lot of times, because they're looking for someone to drive the fucking boat. Most people don't know what they're doing with their lives. Women especially have no clue what they're doing with their lives. They're waiting for a man to just tell them what the fuck to do all the time. So just get on this mentality. Get in this attitude. Carry yourself like a fucking prince. The entitled douche. That is the way we need to start living, guys. So I'll close it out there, guys. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. I'll talk to you later.